Hello, everybody. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811. 877-381-3811. You can see how the president is colluding with Russia, imposing the toughest sanctions that have been imposed on Putin and Russia, clearly in more than a decade. Staring down Putin in the Middle East as he deals, the president does, with Syria. And I'm going to get into some of this. But before I do, I want you to hear Rachel Maddow on MSLSD Friday night. This is why she's one of the biggest cable audiences in the country, because she gets about 3.1, 3.2 million viewers, which means there's 3.1, 3.2 million nut jobs out there. And they are attracted to her program like flies to you-know-what. And this is the sort of thing that draws the attention of the hard left, what you're about to listen to. This is Friday night, when the United States Armed Forces, in harm's way, are launching attacks on the Syrian chemical depots and chemical plants. Cut to, go.
Other countries and entities involved in the fight in Syria or considering their role in Syria are going to try to figure out how they're going to react to this U.S. strike. It will affect those other countries' view of this strike. It will affect their reaction to it. It will therefore affect the utility of this military strike. If the President of the United States is believed to have issued the order to launch this strike tonight, even in part because people think he wanted to distract from a catastrophic domestic scandal that is blowing up at home at the same time, the perception that the President may have ordered these strikes, in part because of scandal, will affect the impact and the effectiveness of these military strikes. Unavoidably. Even if the tail is not wagging the dog, even if you give the president every benefit of the doubt, even if his calculations about whether to launch this action against Syria tonight was taken with absolutely no regard for what else is going on in the president's life right now. What else is going on in the president's life right now unavoidably creates a real perception around the globe that may have been part of the motivation, both for what he did and particularly for when he did it. And it is a sad thing, and it is an upsetting thing in terms of American influence in the world and the risks that we take when we use American military power anywhere. But that perception that this president, under this much siege, may have made this decision that was in any way inflected by the scandals surrounding him, that by necessity has shaped America's national security options for who we are in the world tonight. And it will unavoidably shape the impact.
That's enough. This rambling insanity, according to the left, shows a real intellectual flair. This rambling insanity. That the President of the United States did this to take attention away from what's taking place in this country. Now, let me ask you a question. Did it take Rachel Maddow's attention away from anything? No. She's still there. Did it take any host on MSLSD or the Constipated News Network, CNN? Did it draw their attentions away from their goals of destroying this president? Of course not. Did it change Adam Schiff or Chuck Schumer or Robert Mueller or Jim Comey? No, it didn't change any of them. So what the hell is she rambling on about like a moron? And trust me, she believes this crap. Now, she's not accused of being a conspiracy nut. You'll never see that written about her. You never hear that said about her. She's not a conspiracy nut. No, she's really smart. She's sharp. No, she's a conspiracy nut. Now, the truth is, I could turn my Sunday Fox show into this, get up there, get behind my desk, and go on and ramble like a buffoon. Why would I do that? And she's not the only one. The Democrats are really revealing who they are. They're not compassionate. They don't care about other people. They care about power. That's it. So what? Some people are being gassed in the Middle East. So what? What's that have to do with us? That's right. They only support international institutions when those international institutions are undermining our sovereignty. Then they're for them. Then they demand that we support them. And I wonder if the Muslim world is taking note, and these judges who accuse our president of being anti-Muslim, I wonder if they're taking note that it's this commander-in-chief who sent American warplanes and American missiles into Syria to protect whom? Christians? No. Jews? No. White males? No. Muslims. Muslims. You got that, all you goofball judges out there? And it's the liberals who are offended. Man, what are we doing here? It's a wag the tail, or the dog tail, whatever, wag something. Then there's Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff, who's a nobody. They can't get enough of Adam Schiff because Adam Schiff is the voice through whom they speak. Cut 3, go.
I think the president did a couple things right and one big thing wrong. I think he was right to have strikes on these chemical facilities as a deterrent to Bashar al-Assad, to try to reestablish this norm against the use of chemical weapons. And I think he was right to pick targets that would not risk Russian lives and embroil us in a broader war. God forbid. Using sanctions against the Russians, which they're apparently going to employ, I think is the right approach rather than bombing Russian targets. But on the negative side of the ledger, this should have been brought to Congress for a vote. Morally justified, but probably unconstitutional. Was
Congress in session? Was Congress ever in session? So I love these fools in Congress. They get up and they say, this should have been brought to Congress for a vote and so forth. Congress can't even meet deadlines for its budget. Congress can't even meet deadlines on spending. Congress can't even balance the books. So the president wants to hit Syria. Time is of the essence. Time is beginning to linger. And you should go to Adam Schiff and the Democrats and the Republicans and have them debate it. Now, we've only declared war 5 or 6 times in our history. For real wars, this president made it utterly clear. He wants to get out of Syria, whether you agree with him or not. He's made it utterly clear that this is what we're doing. We're keeping an eye on this nut job's use of chemical weapons. Why don't we take him at his word? He tells us the truth, certainly when it comes to foreign policy. And he's handled foreign policy, listen to me, particularly you never Trumpers. He's handled foreign policy beautifully. What he's done with North Korea, what he's doing with China, what he's doing now with Russia, how he's trying to deal with the disaster that Obama and Kerry and Clinton created with Iran and that deal. And Syria, he's inherited all this stuff. And the irony is, he's a businessman who was an outsider, got elected president of the United States. And I'm going to tell you something. I know it's going to be tough to understand this with all the crap that's going on out here. So far, he's one of our finest foreign policy presidents in recent times. Who's better? Certainly no Democrat. And he kept his word on Jerusalem and Israel and so forth. He's trying to build up the United States military. He's trying to secure our border for national security and other reasons. You know what he gets on foreign policy? An A. And I heard one of these Weekly Standard guys on Fox today. What's the president's position on Syria? I have no idea. He said we're going to get out, and then he strikes on the gas stuff. Really? You guys over there can't figure this out? You can't figure what? You got a little circle thing going on over there, and you'd like to convince each other that Trump is so horrific. I can figure it out. He doesn't want to be there. On the other hand, while we're there, if Syria is going to use chemical weapons, he has said that he will confront it. Then we have other Code Pink Republicans out there saying, what does this have to do with us? So far away. What does this have to do with us? Now, you would think after 9/11 that question will be obvious. The problem with chemical weapons is they're cheap to make and they're easy to use. And they're easy to cross over borders. They're easy to move from one region to another. And the term that we like to use is non-proliferation. We do not want the proliferation of these weapons of mass destruction. And that's what they are. They may have killed 70, 100, 200 people in this instance, but they can do a lot more damage, for instance, in Manhattan or Los Angeles or what have you. And it's not just Syria. This is Russia. Russia's behind this. Russia was supposed to make sure Syria wasn't making any more chemicals, wasn't storing them, and wouldn't use them. Russia's now in Syria, effectively running Syria, and yet look what Syria is doing with chemical weapons. Look what Russia's doing with chemical weapons. No, it's been understood for 100 years. Perhaps the Code Pink Republicans don't know this. It's been understood for 100 years. It's been understood since World War I, after World War I, since World War II, after World War II, that we cannot just allow these kinds of genocidal weapons that are cheap to make and easy to move. We cannot make them considered like conventional weapons. And once there's systems to make them, to store them, to transport them, and they become ubiquitous, then it's too late. Then it's too late. That's why the president's doing what he's doing. He's letting the Russians know, the Syrians know, and all these other backward fools know that at least when it comes to the United States, France, and the UK, no, it's not tolerable. Now, the president's not sending in 20, 30, 50, 100,000 troops. He did what he needed to do. And they've warned them again. Do it again and we'll hit you again. Well, Mark, what about all the people being slaughtered in the Sudan? And what people mean by that is the black Muslims slaughtering black Christians in Sudan by the hundreds of thousands. It's horrific. I wish we could do something about it. Maybe we could do more about it, but we can't do everything. But that doesn't mean we can't do some things. And again, the problem with chemical weapons is that they really do have the potential of doing damage to us. And same with biological weapons. So these arguments, man, it's so far away. What does it have to do with us? Are lame brain under the current circumstances. I don't know. What do terrorists in Afghanistan and Saudi Arabia have to do with us? What do you think? Think 9/11. But these chemical weapons, this is serious stuff. And it doesn't take much to make them and to transport them and to use them, which is why a country like Syria, which has nothing, almost no resources, which is held up by Russia, makes them and uses them. And Russia should know better, but Putin doesn't give a crap. And so we're fortunate to have a commander-in-chief, unlike Obama, who's actually standing up to Putin. And the irony is, they're trying to take out our commander-in-chief. They started with the whole Russian BS, and he's taking a tougher stand with Russia than Obama did, than Biden did, than Comey did, than Mueller did, than all those goofballs did. I'll be right back.